Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be talking about my reading plans for the month of November, and I hope to describe a couple of buddy reads and group reading events that I'm going to be participating in, as well as a few things that I'm just going to be doing on my own. First of all, I'm really excited that the new Travis Baldree novel is coming out on November 11th. I've talked many times on the channel about how I found a real comfort read in Travis Baldree in his Legends and Lattes books. And the third book in the series is due to be released on November 11th, and that's Brigands and Breadknives. So I'm really looking forward to that. I find these to be, I found the first two to be just really calming and comforting reads, especially late at night. I never thought I was much of a cozy fantasy reader, but something about Travis Baldree just really seemed to help me a great deal in the last year. And so I'm really happy that the third book is coming, and I have pre-ordered it. In addition, I wanted to talk about a reading event that I am co-hosting, and that is The World According to John Irving. A small group of us started talking about this back in the summer when we realized that a new John Irving novel was due to be released in November, and that's entitled Queen Esther. So we started a little Voxer chat, and little by little it has grown, and we have a bunch of people who are now co-hosting this event, and I'll list all of them in the notes below. But the new novel, Queen Esther, which is coming out in early November, that's actually a prequel to a novel that I read a long time ago, his 1985 novel, The Cider House Rules. So we're going to read or reread this in the month of November, and we have a schedule all made out for what we're going to read each week, or at least what we're going to discuss each week in a Voxer chat. And then in December, we're going to read the new book, Queen Esther, just to give people time to get a hold of the new novel. If you would like to join us, there's still plenty of time. We're not starting until Saturday, November 1st. But you can just contact me on Voxer. My channel name is in the notes to this channel, and you can contact me there, and I'll add you to the group. You're more than welcome to join us. My real life book group met this week, and we chose our book for this next month, and we're going to be reading Florence Knapp's new debut novel, The Names. We are actually going to be discussing this, I think, on December 1st, but this will be our read for the month of November. I didn't know anything about this book. This was the recommendation of one of our members, but this is just a little bit about the book, just from the inside cover. The extraordinary novel that asks, can a name change the course of a life? In the wake of a catastrophic storm, Cora sets off with her 9-year-old daughter, Maya, to register the birth of her son. Her husband, Gordon, respected in the community, but a controlling presence at home, intends for her to follow a long-standing family tradition and name the baby after him. But when faced with the decision, Cora hesitates. Spanning 35 years, what follows are 3 alternate and alternating versions of their lives, shaped by Cora's last-minute choice of name. In richly layered prose, The Names explores the painful ripple effects of domestic abuse, the messy ties of family, and the possibilities for autonomy and healing. Additionally, I'm going to be doing a buddy read with my friend Gavin from Genre Books. Gavin has this wonderful new project where he has created a spreadsheet of science fiction to celebrate basically 100 years of science fiction. And he has chosen a novel for every year from 1926 through 2026. And I am going to be reading with him Arthur Conan Doyle's novel, The Land of Mist. Now, what I understand about this novel is that this is one of Arthur Conan Doyle's science fiction novels. It's part of his Professor Challenger series. And the book was originally published in installments in the Strand magazine. It was published from July 1925 through March 1926. And this edition that I have is the 100th anniversary edition, and it's a facsimile edition where it includes all of the pictures that appeared in the Strand when the novel was originally serialized. So I'm really looking forward to reading this and discussing this with my friend Gavin. Additionally, I've decided to participate in November and December in the FOMO Book Club. This is Fear of Missing Out Book Club. This book club was created 4 years ago by Jack at Spreadbookjoy, by Gemma at Gem of Books, and by Alice at Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. And they made a list initially of 6 books to read in that first year. Sadly, we lost Alice last year. But Gemma and Jack have decided to continue the group in honor of Alice. And so last week, Jack made a video about the choices for the coming year of the FOMO Book Club. And their year goes from November, it starts in November and it ends in October. So the new year is about to begin. And they decided to choose a book that was one of Alice's favorites. Alice had read everything that Agatha Christie ever wrote, and her favorite Agatha Christie novel was Five Little Pigs, a Hercule Poirot mystery. Now, I've read many of the Miss Marple books, but I have not read I've only read a handful of the Poirot mysteries, so I signed right on. I responded to Jack's video, and I said I would definitely join them for this reading and discussion of Five Little Pigs, which is going to be the choice for November and December. And then at the end of the reading period, Jack and Gemma do a live stream discussion of the choice for those months. So I'm happy to be joining in on that. Additionally, I'm going to be participating in Dr. No-Vember. This is a reading event that was originally created by Mark at Book Time with Elvis, and it is a reading event that revolves around the reading of spy novels and spy nonfiction. There are a number of co-hosts of this reading event, and I will list everyone in the notes below. But I decided to participate in their group read. The group is reading together Graham Greene's novel, The Quiet American. And then Mark said in a recent video that some of the hosts are doing another, I think this is another group read, because they had, I guess, recently just read The Quiet American. So there also are people who are reading a George Smiley novel by John LeCarre, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. So I'm going to try to read this one as well, and I need to find out if this is part of the group read or just another recommended book. And then just on my own. This isn't part of any reading event at all. I'm going to be reading J. Parini's Why Poetry Matters. I've talked about J. Parini on the channel in the past. J. Parini is a professor of English. He currently teaches at my alma mater, but he, in addition to being a poet and a novelist and a literary critic and an English professor, he's a literary biographer. He wrote, I think I most recently talked about his biography of Robert Frost, but he's written many literary biographies. But this little book is published by the Yale University Press, and in it, he talks about some of my most beloved poets. And I'm just going to read you a little bit about, from the inside cover of this book, and I think you'll see why I was drawn to it. J. Parini knows that poetry doesn't matter to most people, but he also recognizes this as a serious problem, which he tackles in this focused and passionate book about the nature of poetry and its uses in the world. At a time when we need it most, poetry is a cultural gift that should be turned to for consolation, entertainment, and inspiration. Drawing on a wide range of poets and writers and a 40-year habit of reading poetry daily, Parini turns to poetry for a respite from our clamorous culture. Ever since Plato urged that they be kicked out of his ideal republic, poets have been on the run. Parini looks at the traditional defenses of poetry written over the centuries, from ancient times to the present. Wearing his learning lightly, he wrestles with Plato, Horace, Wordsworth, Coleridge, Eliot, Frost, Stevens, and beyond, to such contemporaries as Adrian Rich, Seamus Heaney, Charles Wright, and Mary Oliver. So I'm going to give this a read in November as well. So those are my loose plans for November. I'm sure other things will come up, and I'll certainly talk about those on the channel as they do. But I hope I can get to all of these things that I've just mentioned here. And again, if you want to join us for The World According to John Irving, please, drop me a note in the comments or contact me on Voxer, and I'd love to add you to the group. So those are my plans for the coming month. So, as always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.